Stannies, this is the History of SmackDown Part 4. Let's not mince words, let's get right into it. Here's what you need to know. SmackDown Just Bring It that we covered on Part 3 of the series was a disappointment. Shut Your Mouth is the best game in the series so far. We don't have time for a history lesson with sales figures and the time that it was. Let's get right into the gameplay. This is Part 4 in the series, we're past that stuff.
Let's jump right in and talk about some of the insane shit you can do in this game. Several of the stages include interactive platforms that are perfect for some of the most insane high spots you will ever see. I think every single wrestling fan who ever laid eyes on the giant King of the Ring chair fantasized about all the possible high spots you can put together, but none of them were ever done in real life. Probably for safety reasons. Shut Your Mouth says fuck safety and lets you do whatever you want. In the parking lot area, if you bump into one of the vehicles 3 times, it will explode and send your opponent sky high, only to come crashing down, totaling another car with the broken bag of bones that was once their body. The boiler room has a balcony area that has dangerous written all over it, especially if you whip your opponent into the combustible tanks on the right side of the screen. How the fuck would anyone survive that? And the main event, oh my goodness, you can jump off the top of the SmackDown fist. This would no doubt lead to death in real life, which only makes it all the more fun.
Holy shit! Finishing moves are the best part of a wrestling match. It's what you wait for the whole time. Who doesn't like a picture-perfect swanton, an excellently timed Stone Cold Stunner, a deadly-looking tombstone piledriver?
A brand new feature to the series is the ability to get theatrical with your finishing move. By pressing L1 or L2 during the animation, you can pause the action and create your own 360 matrix effect. Or a quadruple replay. Pressing both buttons at the same time will give you both effects, which is really cool. I always loved using this feature when I was playing against my friends. It gave you the perfect amount of time to relish the moment and talk shit before going for the cover. Stealing finishers makes its debut in Shut Your Mouth as well, and it's an awesome way to add an extra fuck you to your opponent. The SmackDown logo flashes red, and it costs 2 finisher slots to pull off, so you better make it count. And by that I mean make sure they don't reverse your finisher. Yes, that's another new feature. Shut Your Mouth adds the ability for your opponent, if they time it perfectly, to block your attempt of a finishing move. This adds an extra layer of drama that none of the previous 3 games in the series had. Shut Your Mouth drips with effort and creativity, and giving something as simple as the finishing move mechanics such depth and variety drives this home. Let's talk about Season Mode. The story mode of the last game is gone, dead and buried, so I hope you said goodbye to it and it's 3 matches of fun, not that you'll miss it. In Shut Your Mouth, we choose one superstar and take them across 2 full years of the WWE calendar, starting off with the draft, which is so much fun. You can skip the draft and have the computer pick for you, but who the hell would do that? It's way more fun to choose a brand and draft for that roster. This also allows us to draft our own player on the show of our choice. After you've chosen the lineup for your show, we get dropped right into the action. I picked Diamond Dallas Page, a guy I wish had gotten a better chance in WWE during his time. We're backstage and we've got the world at our fingertips as free roaming is in full effect here. You can wander around the lobby looking for WWE superstars to interact with, you can check the locker room, go outside, or head into your general manager's office and check your superstar points. You can ask for a title shot and more. Season mode is a very reward-driven experience and I find it to be highly addictive. The roster screen shows your current superstar points. Winning matches raises the amount of points you have. The amount of points you have dictates which titles you can challenge for and what storylines you'll be involved in. This keeps us always wanting to win to open up new opportunities. For instance, early on in Season Mode, I went 4-0 across my first 4 matches, all against mid-card wrestlers. The first pay-per-view rolled around and I wasn't on the card. I was disappointed, but I wasn't involved in any active story, so it made sense. I walked into Ric Flair's office and chose the I want a title shot option, and holy shit! He took a look at my superstar points and asked, which title do you want to challenge for? I had the option of the Hardcore, Tag Team, or European Championship. I chose European, as the Intercontinental title was on SmackDown, and I wanted to assert myself as the number 2 guy on Raw. The card changed, I was booked against William Regal, and I won the title that night, which then developed into a 2-month-long storyline pitting me against Regal. This is just one example of how malleable the season mode is. You can book title matches, start a fight, or ask Stacy Keibler on a date at the drop of a hat. Every 5th show is a pay-per-view event, which grants us a chance to pick something from the Unlockables menu. We've got new attires for our wrestlers, new arenas to wrestle in, new creator wrestler parts or movesets. We can choose one of any of these things to unlock. Only being able to choose one has the player wanting to keep working through season mode, so we can get that next sweet piece of unlockable content. Each pay-per-view has a different pool of unlockables to choose from, so if you want everything, expect to play season mode several times through, which this time is a great thing because season mode is awesome. Storylines cover the entire gambit, from chases of championship gold to defending your general manager and show's honor against the opposing brand's army. Season mode is constantly changing, and the storylines stay fun and fresh enough that you're never going to want to put it down. It's insane that coming back to this game 15 years after its release has me wishing the current 2K games could manage to put together something as fun as this.
This is the first time in the series, at least in my opinion, that the roster has a totally new feel to it.
We've had the mainstays like Undertaker, Austin, The Rock, and Triple H since the first game in the series, and the mid-tier guys like Billy Gunn, X-Pac, Chris Jericho, and Albert, they've all felt the same. Shut Your Mouth introduces brand new names to the series like Brock Lesnar, Rob Van Dam, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Kevin Nash, Randy Orton, Kidman, Booker T, and several others to the mix. This roster is 60 wrestlers deep, which gives us plenty to work with.
One of my biggest complaints in the history of SmackDown Part 3, where we covered Just Bring It, was that the game felt rushed. It felt like the developers and the publishers weren't worried about making the best SmackDown game yet. It felt like they wanted to get onto the PS2 and who cares about the quality. SmackDown Shut Your Mouth picks up the pieces and improves in almost every way.
For starters, ladder matches have finally gotten an overhaul. We can now interact with the ladder way more than ever before. We can set it in the corner and perform different grapple moves using the ladder as a weapon. We can throw our opponent onto the ladder and then slam them down with back-breaking force, which the selling animation for is awesome, by the way. And the winning mechanics are totally redone as well. In part 2 of this series, I touched on how real-life ladder matches are plotted, that you need to put a real beatdown on your opponent to buy yourself enough time to secure the title hanging high above the ring. Shut Your Mouth puts this into practice, as you don't just press circle to win anymore. You've got to make the climb, reach for the title, and hold on long enough to rip the title from the cable, all before your opponent wakes up and tears you out of the sky. For the first time in the series, ladder matches are suspenseful, especially if you've got more than 2 wrestlers in the match. Fatal 4-way ladder matches can get pretty insane. They're so much fun. And oh, how could I forget my favorite addition to ladder matches? I'm a mark for high spots, and these animations are so fucking cool. I'll never get tired of these. While we're on the topic of matches getting overhauled, wouldn't you know it, they finally figured out what Hell in a Cell is supposed to look like. The cell now expands to the outside of the ring, and we've got new grapple moves in between the ring and the cage. We can smash our opponent's face into the steel, do the old cheese grater gimmick, the old javelin into the wall spot. Oh man, cell matches are now more fun than ever. There's now a door that can easily be broken open in order to get up on top. There's brand new moves to perform off the roof of the cell. These are the types of things we should have expected with the leap onto the PS2 in the last game. But hey, better late than never. These improvements to existing match types make Shut Your Mouth so much more fun to play on a match-by-match basis. Also, the announcers tables have been upgraded as well. They're finally the full-size broadcast desk, rather than being the size of a regular table with a new skin thrown on it. The extra room makes it way easier to perform whatever moves you want through the table, and the animation has been improved big time. Look at the animation of the table crash and Just Bring It, compared to Shut Your Mouth. Not even a contest which one looks better. Get the fuck out of here.
There are definitely some weird things happening in this game, and I would not feel right making this documentary series and not touching on them.
Why is it that the diva's titties shake when you skip to the next line of dialogue? I always found this to be very strange. I'm not mad at it, it's just something I noticed. Who was in charge of that? Who was it that said, "Hey, make the titties shake when you press the button"? Why is there so much space outside the ring? Look at this, it's ridiculous. Compare it to real life. You could fit the entire roster out here. You could fit the entire Roman Reigns fan club out here twice. There's so much space outside the ring, and yet the cell cage is slightly smaller than it should be, regarding how close to the ring it is. I always found this to be weird. My favorite weird quirk is how the wrestlers sell big bumps. And by favorite, I mean my least favorite. What the fuck is that? What is that? Who the fuck animated this? Who on the team could claim they had ever seen anything close to that in the wrestling world? I hated this animation, and I still do. It's a big bump. Big bumps should make us go, oh! Every big bump or high spot in this game leads to this animation, which leads to giggles and eye rolling. What a stupid thing. I think it looks like shit.
It does look like shit.
We still don't have the ability to put titles on the line in exhibition mode, which is a major bummer for me, but that might be the first outwardly and exclusively negative thing I've said about this game. And it's not because I saved them all for this part of the video. I don't really have a lot of negative things to say about Shut Your Mouth. It's easily the best game in the series so far. I know you Dan-Nans haven't forgotten how terrible the commentary was in WWE SmackDown Just Bring It. It was awful. It's the worst any of us have ever heard. Luckily, Shut Your Mouth has commentary, and it's way better. Taz and Michael Cole are gone. That's the good news. The better news is that JR and the King are in the game. They don't talk nearly as much, and when they do talk, it sounds awesome.
Well, this crowd certainly does not have too many Jerichoholics.
That's going to do it, Dan-Nans. That's the History of SmackDown Part 4, Return to Glory. I called it Return to Glory because I feel like that's what it is for the series. Just Bring It was the first time that we trekked downward, that it didn't feel like we had this continuing progression of going up. Shut Your Mouth is that Return to Glory, and it's the game that PlayStation fans can grab and raise above their head like a championship belt. It put us back on track. It's the best game in the series so far. It was a breath of fresh air, and it's exactly what the series needed. You don't want to see it tank right there. Now, I know WWE 2K18 is right around the corner, and I know all you guys are very excited to play it, and I also know it's no coincidence that this video is dropping mere days before that game comes out. So I hope everybody has fun with the new game, but at the same time, if you are walking around whatever local mom and pop game shop you guys have and you see a copy of WWE SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, pick it up. Dude, it's still so good. It's so much fun. Have fun with WWE 2K18 and come back next month one last time in the series. Part 5. You know what I'm saying? Where we're going to cover possibly the best wrestling game ever made, WWE SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain. I'll see you next time.